Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've got another review for you this week. It is of the Netflix show The Haunting of Hill House, which is based off the novel of the same name by an author named Shirley Jackson, which came out, and I think they're in the sort of mid-50s sort of era. And also there was actually a movie about it in 1999 starring Liam Neeson and Catherine Zeta-Jones. It was just called The Haunting. It's terrible, don't go and watch it, and it's nothing really to do with the show. It's just obviously all based off the same book. So the story of the show is there's a family called the Crane family who the dad and the mum are sort of house renovators. They buy old properties and they kind of build them up and resell them for a mass profit. And that's what they do here. They move into a place called Hill House, and the story of this kind of takes place across two timelines, but it does kind of jump a little bit, some places in between. But the main bulk of the story takes place of the time when the family were living at that house up until the time when they're all adults and it's way in the past. Then there's kind of an event that happens that kind of brings them all back together, because all kind of pulled apart, estranged. A lot of them aren't talking to each other anymore in the sort of future timeline. And obviously it takes place at the house and kind of the things that led to them not talking anymore. And it kind of intercuts. So it does jump around a bit. It's pretty easy to follow. It's at the bottom of the screen it says now or then, and it's not that confusing with the timeline. It's quite straightforward. The show is really, really creepy. There is some definite big scares in it. There's a few jump scares in it, which is a little bit kind of a trope that's overdone maybe in films now, where it's like the biggest horror movie and it's like 15-16 jump scares throughout the whole film, and then afterwards you're like, what was I really scared about? And half the time they're fake outs. These ones there are some jump scares in it. Some of them are a little bit kind of forced. I think after about the fourth episode, those get a little bit, you kind of get numb to them a little bit, like, okay, well, it was a jump scare again. You can see it coming, but then there are some genuinely really scary moments in this, really creepy moments where it's just completely quiet and you hear a noise and there's just, you see faces, and it can get really scary and it is really creepy in most areas. But the overall story is really good to this. Especially as you get towards the end, the kind of the scare horror factor of it kind of dies out a little bit, and you're really invested in kind of where these characters are going to end up, and are they going to be okay, or are they going to meet their ultimate sort of fate and doom, as you will. And that's the best part of the show. It's the characters you get really invested in. Everyone, even from the kids up until when they're adults, you really kind of invest in them and you really want them to be okay. And then when they are going through these kind of trying moments, you do sympathise with them. You kind of see everyone's kind of point of view, and because they've all got different opinions to why they're not talking to one another, and you kind of I kind of see their situation. I do agree with that situation. It's hard, and you do invest. The kids are really great in this as well. Usually with child actors in scary films, they get a bit one-dimensional, they just scream a lot, but no, they're really good. They're really good investing into the show. It's about 10 episodes, which is probably perfect. It kind of starts off, each episode kind of focuses on one member of the family, and then there's some obviously crossovers as well, which is really good. You kind of really get their backstory, and the way it's edited as well, you kind of slowly reveals parts and stuff, which really kind of unravels the mystery of this family, so what happened to them. Then you're constantly guessing. You think it went one way, then it changes, it goes another, and in the conclusion, it's really, really good. I think it's a nice series. It kind of wraps up really well. I'm not going to spoil the ending, obviously, for you, but it wraps up really well without it. It could end, and there could be no more, and then I'll be fine with that. But if it can lead into another one, and it wouldn't feel forced, which is kind of good. It's a good way to end a sort of series or a film, is when you can have a conclusive ending. You go, yeah, okay, this is it, I'm good with it, but if we make another one, I would happy to see it. There's not really much to say. I don't want to go into spoilers. I don't want to kind of reveal too much of the show, because it is quite intriguing when you watch it. So I do recommend you watch it. My wife watched it. It was very much a point we have to watch it early, ideally with all the lights on. Can't watch it in the dark. Can't watch it the last thing before she goes to bed. So if you are a little bit kind of easily scared, maybe that way for you. The show, it is scary, and there are some really, really creepy moments, as I've said, which is really good. There is a little video also afterwards, not on the show, but if you go into imdb.com, there's a little video on there, and it shows you everywhere a ghost was actually revealed. And I was surprised how many times I was watching a scene, had no idea there was a ghost in the background somewhere. I would recommend you watch that after the show, see how many you pick out, see how many you do miss. Some of them I did think, I said, oh yeah, I saw that ghost, but over half of them I was like, I had no idea there was something there. Not just a ghost, but something moving in the background, which is quite cool actually, how the show kind of did that. So that's a video I recommend maybe watch after you've seen the show, but definitely 100% give it a watch, give it a try. Even if you are easily scared, it's a really good show, and it's a good fun to watch, especially maybe not something you'd want to watch on your own though, just forewarning you. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.